Hi there, thanks for coming back to my channel. The title for today's video is What is a LinkedIn Shadow Ban? Keep watching and I'll give you my thoughts after the break. Hi there, before we get into today's topic, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to turn on the notifications, they're very important. Today's topic, LinkedIn shadow ban. I'll start with an explanation. A shadow ban is when a social media platform, usually, so it could be TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, decides to not show your posts, so any updates that you post on their platform, to the same amount of followers or subscribers that they used to do. So for example, let's imagine that you had 10,000 followers, and on LinkedIn you were normally, your 10% of your followers would see your updates, so you'd get an impressions of 1,000. So let's move from YouTube here. Let's go to LinkedIn. Let me try and demonstrate this. So here's my profile on LinkedIn. You see I'm approaching 7,000 followers, which is good. And let's answer the next question. So there's a number of questions. Just let me give you a sort of preview of what's coming up in this video, make it easy for you. So it's what is a LinkedIn shadow ban? I've just mentioned and covered what is a LinkedIn shadow ban. Next question is, how would you know you've been shadow banned? Question after that would be, why would you get a LinkedIn shadow ban? And then finally, will your account return to normal if you've been shadow banned? So those are the areas I'm going to cover today. So let's go back to how will you know if you've been shadow banned. So here's my profile. Let's have a look at some of my previous posts. So, and this is a demonstration for educational purposes. So these are my very recent posts, and you can, on this recent post from yesterday, only 56 views, which is very low. Those are posts within a group. So here's another one, and I've written, this might ruffle a few feathers. LinkedIn automation, what is the best approach? And you should watch this video because it's relevant for what we're talking about today. So you can see there, only 110 views of that post in the feed, which is low for me. And just to substantiate the fact that I believe it's low, that post has, the previous post 141, also low. Here, that one has a little bit better, 776 views in the feed. Okay, so here's one that was more like the normal level of post impressions that I used to get on my personal profile. So this one has about 1,000 views in the post feed. It's not, so that was more typical of what I used to get in my post feed. So I'm now getting 50 to 100. So that would suggest that for one reason or another, and we'll talk about that in the next section, I've been shadow banned on this platform, and you can see there's a big drop off from 1,000 impressions down to 50, down to 100 impressions of my posts on my personal profile. I'll talk about posts and impressions in groups in other videos, so I'm not going to discuss that today. Okay, next question. Why would you get a LinkedIn shadow ban? Now, this is why the video that I mentioned, the LinkedIn automation, what's the best approach, this one, you should watch that, and I'll put a card above and I'll link to that video in the description. You should watch that because in that I refer to LinkedIn's user agreement, and there's a lot of activities that are not permitted at the moment since I think it was October 2020. There's a lot of activities that are not permitted on LinkedIn. And if you want the executive summary, it's anything that looks like automation or is automation on LinkedIn is prohibited. It's against the user agreement. So you need to watch that video, get more details about the user agreement there, and also the link to the user agreement. So that's how I believe I got sort of shadow banned on LinkedIn, because I was quite a while ago, a couple of years ago, I was using automation to send out intro messages to people. So that's one way that you can get yourself sort of in trouble with LinkedIn shadow banned. Also, if you have set templates for messages, and whether you send those out manually or using automation, so you might cut and paste the same message. Nice to I'd like to contact you, or I'd like to connect with you because of X, Y, and Z, etc. If LinkedIn sees the same message, even if you're cut and pasting it rather than using an automation software, LinkedIn will pick up on that, and they'll sort of you'll be put into what some people refer to as LinkedIn jail, on your way to a shadow ban, because they don't want to see that kind of replication of message. So if you use LinkedIn for lead generation, online networking, so you're reaching out to people you haven't met face to face, which is what a lot of people do on LinkedIn, of course, particularly during the global pandemic, then LinkedIn can pick up on that activity and put you in a shadow ban, and they can even remove you from the platform for a couple of days, and they'll normally communicate with you. And I've mentioned all of this in the video that I'm just highlighting now, LinkedIn automation, what is the best approach. So I'm not going to repeat all of that. Go and watch that video and you'll get more detail there. So that's how you can get a shadow ban. The most common reasons are, I would say, automation, or spamming people, or people reporting when they receive a connection request, people reporting you as spam and not knowing you and no contact, etc. Those will get you into trouble with LinkedIn, which could mean a few days suspension from the platform. It could mean a shadow ban when you come back. Shadow ban is, LinkedIn will not write to you and say you're shadow banned, therefore your subscribers, your connections are not going to see your posts, or most of them aren't going to see your posts. They're not going to tell you that. You'll just see, if you do some analysis, as I did in the earlier part of this video when I just showed you some current posts and then previous posts and the level of impressions and how that had dropped off very significantly. So they won't tell you you're shadow banned, but you'll be getting less reach on the platform. Now, I suppose the most significant question is, once you've reached this stage where you believe you've been shadow banned, and it is very, very common, a lot of people aren't talking about it. You won't find a lot of videos on YouTube about it, but there are a few. When you have been shadow banned, I imagine that when you go through a period when they feel that your activity is not contravening any of the terms of the user agreement or even close to it, then you'll be returned, I believe, to normal activity. And that could be a month, that could be 2 months. Just to clarify, if they really want to ban you from the platform, they can ban you from the platform and you won't be able to. And there's lots of very significant people who have been banned from the platform and are no longer active on LinkedIn, and you can't find their profiles either. But if they've just given you a shadow ban, that's not as extreme as obviously being banned from the platform. So you can still use LinkedIn, but if you start to aggressively send out connection requests to people that you don't know, you've not worked with, then you could get yourself in trouble again. So to avoid that, just be very low key on the platform. Obviously you can receive connection requests, but don't send out lots and lots of connection requests or you'll get into trouble again. And I imagine that after a period of being on a shadow ban on LinkedIn, you will return to a normal level of activity, normal impressions on your posts. Please bear in mind also that LinkedIn has, and I made a video about this as well, LinkedIn has altered the algorithm so that you're already getting less reach, because they wanted to promote their boosted posts option. So those of you who've been active on Facebook know that there's an option for boosting posts, and that generates a lot of revenue for Facebook. LinkedIn have a similar functionality now, so it may be that your reach will never achieve the levels that you once experienced if they are trying to promote boosting of posts, which will generate them more revenue. So that's LinkedIn shadow bans. As I said, there's not a lot of coverage of it on YouTube or online generally. It is happening. It's very easy to contravene LinkedIn user agreement, because most people who are active on LinkedIn have not read the user agreement and wouldn't know where to find it. So I'll link to that below. Read it, make sure that you're not sending out too many connection requests, you're not leaving too many requests unanswered. So if LinkedIn can see that you've sent out hundreds of connection requests that have not been replied to or accepted, they will then think you're spamming, and these people are not in connection with you, and you may then be suspended from the platform for a few days, or you may be shadow banned, etc. So there's lots of very simple ways that business people can be placed into a situation, either LinkedIn jail or a shadow ban or suspension from the platform, just from doing normal business lead generation activities. So be very aware of that. If you are suffering from a LinkedIn shadow ban, at least you're on the platform and you are able to communicate with people on a low level and it's better than being suspended from the platform. And some people are, as I said earlier, have been suspended from the platform. Hope this video has been useful for you. Do not panic if you're in a shadow ban. Just be patient and wait for normal operating activity to return to your account. Thanks for watching all the way through. If you found this educational and useful, please give me a like. Click on one of the 2 thumbnails to watch another video from me. And I look forward to speaking to you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hi there, thanks for coming back to my channel.